Well, Michael, perfect start last weekend from a defender's point of view to get the clean sheet as well.
Yeah, really exciting. Loads of people at the stadium, really good atmosphere, and it was good to put on a really good performance. And like you say, as a unit, as a defensive part of that team, it was brilliant to get a clean sheet and start that way.
And I think as well, having put obviously so much work in during pre-season, always really rewarding when the game plan, the fitness work, all of that side of things, you get the 3 points straight away.
Yeah, I think it's really important for buy-in. You know, we've got a number of new players and a new way that we're trying to develop. So the quicker you can get wins on the board, the more buy-in you get, and the more positive feeling you have around the training ground and the atmosphere and everybody. All of that keeps building, and momentum's so important, and we want to get that as soon as possible. And I think I've been in teams where it can take a little while to get that first win, and to get that off our back straight away is brilliant.
And it seemed as though it's only a sample of one game, so from the outside looking in, it's always a bit trickier. But is part of the blueprint to take what you were really good at last season and the best of last season and put a bit of rocket fuel on it, really, and take it to the next stage? It looked as though you got those principles, and what you were adding was very much to build on those.
Yeah, I think as a football club, there was a lot of reflection on last season and how we can improve and move forward off the pitch and on the pitch. And you try and improve every week, every year, and we'll get better as the season goes on. But that was a real glimpse of what we're trying to achieve, and like you say, add on to the things that we did well last year and improve the things that we needed to develop from that to be a better team. And I think, albeit just the one game, I think from the snippet that you saw that we look a more competitive, better team this year, and hopefully that will turn into results as the season goes on.
Yeah, identity is perhaps an overused word in football, but the users had a really strong identity under Mark, and I think it was pleasing for a lot of fans that we could see what you're all about. And in some respects, it looked familiar, but you could see that it was nudging towards the next stage.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's having that solid base of principles and values that you build from, and then just adapting them and adding extra bits as we go along. And that's, whether that is with a bit of quality from certain personnel and the way that you play, or if it's more of a solid unit and trying to play out from a back three rather than a four sometimes, and just changing a few bits in that essence and trying to adapt and improve like every other team is. So you're just trying to keep up with the time. So yeah, I think building from that base of our values and principles, and then adding little bits of extra onto that.
Yeah, with Danny, Andrew and Paul in particular, you've got players around you who can move in and out of those central areas in defence really comfortably.
Yeah, and I think we have different threats on either side of the wing. I think Sakes has done really well since he come back at pre-season. It's the first time I've got to see him over pre-season, and he's earned his place in the team, and then did superb on Saturday. And then on the other side, with Bruce coming in a little bit more narrow, that gives Liam Bennett, who naturally likes to get forward, a little bit more licence to go forward. So I think the natural shape of the team changes as the game goes on, and it really helps the strengths of the certain players that we have in them positions.
Taking on the captaincy, Michael, for this season, in some respects, I should imagine is an easy job, in that you look at the players who were around you in the starting 11 last weekend, and you've got a lot of big voices.
Yeah, I think most people say, at football clubs, character is so important. And I think we've got some really big characters, some really experienced ones that set a real good standard at the football club. And I think we have that in abundance here, and it has been quite seamless to put in rules, to put in expectations, and have accountability within the squad, and that being ran by the players. And I think it's been a smooth transition, and it's been supported by a lot of the lads who have taken on board what we had to say as a club and what I've had to say as a captain.
Presumably, from your point of view, when it comes to setting that culture, yeah, there are a number of experienced players in the squad, but you've known Mark for such a long period of time that specifically setting culture, that must be really easy because you must know exactly what he wants.
Yeah, and he's really open with the conversations that he has with me as well, and that we discuss, and really listens to the feedback that I give him, whether it's the lads want this or the lads want that as well. And the club try their best to support the players and make them feel comfortable as soon as possible, especially when you've got new players at the football club coming in. But yeah, I think having a good relationship with Mark helps the team helps us give information back to him of what we like doing, what we might not like doing, and making sure that we get balanced one, because it's the lads that go out on the pitch and they have to feel comfortable in what they're being asked to do.
Does it help you as well that Mark had that sort of relationship with Greg Taylor, so it can just carry on with obviously different people involved, but they have that pattern in place?
Yeah, I think Bonds is a real personable person. I think that's one of his real strong traits as a manager, that he gets on with his players and that he's approachable and lets that other person, he gives up that ownership to the captains to look after the team, and that can be difficult as a manager to give up that. But I think he's really good at giving up ownership and letting people do their jobs, and being really personable and listening and all them other good things that you need to be a good people person, a people manager. And I think he understands people really well, and that comes through in his style of management, and we're obviously reaping the rewards for that.
And just to go back to where we started with this chat, for a Cambridge lad, you mentioned the atmosphere last weekend, massive crowd, and obviously your performance helped to really build the momentum, but it must have been great to taste all of that.
Yeah, I was able to bring my kids onto the pitch as well. So, when I first made my debut at 17, to be able to lead the team out with my 3 children was a real proud moment. And, I think the attendance, I got told it was like either 1982 or 1983, it was the highest home attendance. So, that's massive for the football club. It shows that we're still improving and developing, and to get people to come back, we need to win games and enjoy it, and I think we did that on Saturday.